This will be the user interface walkthrough for the Roku Ultra. If you've had any Roku devices before, you'll know that the user interface is fairly similar, but if this is your first time having a Roku device, I'll walk you through what you're looking at. I'm going to start off by saying the background that you're seeing right now is a seasonal background, which is an option that you can turn on or off from the settings menu, which we'll cover a little later. When you first log in, you come to your home page, and what that home page is you see all the icons over to the right. Each of these is a unique channel that lives on your home page. When you come over, you'll also notice all the way over here to the right, there's a rotating ad that you see. Roku is an ad-supported device, and you're just going to have to learn to live with a giant ad. For the most part, you can ignore them because you're going right into what you want to stream anyway. When we come back over to our individual channels, you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner of the grid, you will see a number out of 29. That indicates that I have 29 different channels. Netflix is my first, Pluto is my second, and Disney Plus is my third. If for whatever reason I wanted to move or do something with a channel, you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, it says options. What you'll do is you'll press the asterisk key or star key on your Roku remote. This will allow you to give feedback on the app, check the app for updates, remove that particular channel, move channel, or rate that channel. Moving, if we select this, will allow us to place this particular channel in a different place in your grid. As you're adding channels to your Roku, you might want to reorder them in most usefulness. In my case, most of the things that I want are in the order of the amount of time that I use it. Once you have it in place, simply click the OK button on your Roku remote, and that will lock it in. You'll notice that there is a white outline around whatever channel I am actively going to select. And again, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice the time of day. Coming back over to our home section, we can reach that by selecting the back button on the Roku remote or the home button on the Roku remote. Moving on, we have featured free. And coming over here, this is just going to give you a bunch of different free things that you can watch. Notice that as I'm panning through these, area or channel that it's coming from is changing. So these are not all just from the Roku channel, but it's going to give you a smattering of different things that you can do. So if you're looking for just free things to watch, this is a great place to start if you don't have access to Netflix, Hulu, things of that nature. Roku definitely has moved away from being a Netflix streaming box and is now really a streaming platform unto itself, and the box is merely how you access those things. You'll notice you can get free trials of things here, live TV. We're going to select back on the Roku remote again, and we're going to come down to my feed. And this is one of the things that I really like about Roku is if there's a particular show that you want to follow, you can add it to your feed, and I'll show you how to do that a little later. So yes, Game of Thrones hasn't had any new episodes for a long time, but if I select that, what it will do is it will tell me where I can actually watch Game of Thrones. Whether it's a subscription that is required or if I can buy or rent individual episodes, it will let you know. It also shows if it was in HD or not. That's the My Feed area. And it's, again, something that I really like that Roku does quite well. Coming down, we have Movie Store. Well, I don't particularly care for the movie store or the TV store, but they're there by default and can be removed later. The movie store, as you can see, is powered by Vudu, and you have options for featured films, featured rentals. So coming through here, it will let you know, hey, here's Free Guy. It's $19.99. It's got 80% on Rotten Tomato, 94% on Popcorn Network, and gives you a little smattering. If we select it, it will say watch the trailer or purchase. So again, if you're familiar with Vudu, it is a rental service. You can do that for movies, just like you can do that for TV shows, but this is just kind of a Vudu top picks and things like that. You can explore as you like, but again, remember, Vudu is going to be to pay or rent, so if you're looking for free stuff, this is not where you would come. Same thing with TV. If we're looking for individual TV shows, well, here we go. Bob's Burgers has season 12. It's on Fox. Down there at the bottom, it is $34.99. And we're not going to show you much more that's on here because it's just like the other one. Seasonal sales, bundles, wish list. You get the idea. Moving on to search. What this will allow you to do is search for people, movies, TV shows. As you can see, I have been searching for Travel Man, and selecting that will bring up the show. In this case, it's broken down in individual seasons and lets you know where you can find it. So if I come up to this one here, season 6, you can get it on Plex, Distro TV, Prime, BET Plus, BET Plus. Now, if we were to come back and search for a person, and I'm going to cheat and use the voice remote for this, Mark Hamill, you'll notice that it's bringing up things that star Mark Hamill. Coming back, so this one I actually typed out because you could see here we have Mark Hamill, the actor, a little bit of information about him on the right. Selecting that will let you follow the person. So if you have a particular show, this is how you would do that as well. But it also shows you all the things that they've been in, movies, TV shows. It's quite the array of information that you can have on an individual actor. However, you have to type it in as opposed to using the voice command like I did before. Now, if we come in here and we clear out my search, you will see that Mark Hamill is over on the side. So you could see I searched for a person, I searched for a TV show, I searched for a movie, really bad movie, but funny, and then went and did a feed for that particular show. If we wanted to, we can clear our search history, and then you kind of get like this rotating ad of what's popular. Just know that this allows you to search for people, movies, and TV shows. We're going to select back and come down to streaming channels. Well, this is how you're going to get all of that interesting stuff onto your Roku device. So featured is just that. It's going to show you featured channels. Not all of them are free. And if they have a little white check mark in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll know that that is a channel that you already have. On the right-hand side, you could see information on that channel. So how many stars it has out of X amount of ratings, as well as information about it. In this case, you need to have a subscription fee. Coming down to Sling, gives you information about that. Same with Discovery Plus or Tubi, which is a free service. If you select a channel, you can go to the channel if you don't have it. That would be install if you don't have it on your Roku. You can remove channel, view screenshots of the channel, give it your own rating, and then give Roku feedback on that particular channel. We're going to go back because that's featured. You have new and updated. Again, check marks in the corner means you have them. Recommended based on your viewing habits and so forth. Top free movies and TV. So these are going to be things that you don't have to pay for. And then you could search for a channel if you don't see it coming up in one of those areas. You can break things down into genres. So movies, kids, classics, all that. They even have all the way down here, games. Not going to recommend the games on the Roku. I'm just going to flat out say it. You can get better games on your smartphones at this point. Coming back, we're coming down to my offer. So this is going to be unique offers to you. In this case, if you notice, here's the Roku Ultra. Normally $100, currently $69.99. That's a pretty good deal. But you'll notice it's targeting me because I have a Roku 3. So it wants me to say, upgrade my Roku 3. Well, I have upgraded it, but it's still on my account. So they're trying to get me to buy a new device and upgrade. Also have option for upgrading my remote, again, because of the Roku 3. This one is because of the Roku 2 XS, which is the very first Roku device I ever got. They're saying, hey, we'll give you $10 off the Roku Express. If you are new to Roku, your offers area might not be that plentiful as mine is. However, Roku does do targeted reductions in their stuff fairly often, so you can generally pick up a good deal if you pay attention. Now we're coming over to the left again, and we're coming down to settings, because this is the crux of how your Roku operates. All the things that you need to change are found here. Coming over to the right, we have networking, about, check the connection, which if we select check the connection, it will go bing bing. Are you connected? In my case, I have a wired connection, and it's just making sure that yes, I still have a connection. Setting up a connection, you could choose wired or wireless with this particular Roku device. And then if you wanted, you can have bandwidth saver, which I have on. So if you have this on, and you haven't touched your remote in 4 hours, you'll see a message that pops up and say, hey, are you still watching? If you don't say anything, it will turn things off, which is nice. A lot of the channels actually offer something like this, but it's nice at the device level. Remote and devices, well, here we go. We have remote. I have the enhanced remote that came with the device. It is currently in use. You could come over and select About, which will let you know battery power, all this other fun stuff. Find My Remote. If I press Find My Remote, it will play a sound on the remote so that you can find it. Don't worry, that's not just a setting from the settings menu. There is a physical button on the Roku itself that you can press. Change remote finder sound. Well, you've got a lot of different options that you can come through. So you pick whatever works for you. And then you could preview remote finder and then set up remote for TV control. If you didn't do that during the setup process, this is how you can come and set up your remote control to control your TV set. Turn it on and off, turn up and down the volume, and mute. Very useful thing to have. We're going to come all the way back. You can set up a new device from here. So if you picked up a new remote and haven't lost your current remote, or you can utilize the Roku app to get to this screen, or you could pair a Bluetooth device to your Roku. And that has been our remote and devices. Themes, this is currently what you're looking at. Right now, I have a seasonal theme, but we have theme packs, which I have selected a lot of different themes that you can have, which will replace the background and icon sounds and screensaver, which is kind of cool. You can have just the wallpaper, meaning the background that you're currently looking at, which will not replace the screensaver. Or we have screensavers. Now, a lot of these that you see here are part of theme packs that have downloaded as part of that, but you can have individual screensavers, like this is just a screensaver and this is just a screensaver. The issue that I have with the screensavers is that if we come in and let's do this and we'll say preview, as this rolls through on every one of them, you're going to notice right there coming up, they have an ad. And that's because Roku is an ad supported platform now. If you press the OK button or the play pause button on your remote, it will add the channel that you're looking at. You need to press the back button or the home button on your Roku remote in order to not have it go and add that channel to your Roku. One thing is, if you have the kids theme or the kids screensaver, there are no ads. So, if you don't mind having a kid's background or you have kids, choosing this will not show any ads. So that is definitely food for thought when selecting either a theme or a background. And I'm going to select back and back one more time because that was our screensavers. We also have sounds. You'll see right now you can have different sounds that work with your packs. So hypothetically, here is the Western sounds. You can set, remove sound, give a rating, or give a rating to them. These are active when you select your theme because it overrides the click, click, click sound as it's going through your Roku menus. Additional settings, you can have seasonal, which again is what we're looking at right now. You could turn that on and off if you don't want to have seasonal. You have screensaver wait time. I have it at 5 minutes. You can have it as low as 1 minute and up to 30 minutes. And then restore default theme. So if you really miss the purple theme of Roku when you first get it and don't recall how to get it back, well, this is how you can get that back. We're going to select back and move on to display type, selecting over on our remote. Well, here we have auto detect, which is how I generally do this. 4K Dolby Vision TV, 4K HDR TV, 4K TV, 1080 and 720. You've got lots of choices. Generally, if you don't know what kind of TV you have, just do auto detect and you'll be perfectly fine. Accessibility, there's a lot of options in here, and I'm not gonna go in depth in all of them, but you have caption mode on and off. You have on, And on replay, you'll notice over on the right-hand side, it's giving you an idea of what your captions will look like. You have captions preferred language. I have it in English. You have Espanol. You've got lots of choices there. Coming down, caption style, text style, and then again on the right, it gives you that preview. Text edge effect, again, will give you that preview. Text size, preview. I think you get the idea. If this is something that you're interested in, just know you have lots of options and a lot of customization to make it look how you like for your particular viewing habits. Audio guide. This will be honest, I turned it off, but it's audio prompts, home button press, Netflix selected. If you don't need that, just turn it off. Speech rate, very fast, normal. So that's for that audio guide. Here you have volume. This is any of the badoops that you hear on the Roku device. I have it set at medium. Shortcuts. Do you need it or don't you need it? So if you don't need audio guide and you accidentally hit your options key or the star key on your device 4 times, it will automatically turn it on. So if you don't use it, I would suggest selecting disable. And then we're going to come back. That's our accessibility. Here's our audio, menu volume off. So when I'm channel surfing on the left-hand menu, if you don't want any sounds, you turn it off here. Audio preference language, again, English. And then HDMI, I have it set for auto detect, but you have the option of pass-through, PCMI stereo, Dolby Digital, and you can go all the way up to Dolby Digital plus DTS. If you have no idea what you're doing, leave it on auto. Selecting back, we're going to select our home screen. So remember those things I told you about on the side that you can get rid of if you don't like them? Well, here's the featured free. You can get rid of that. Movies and TV, you can get rid of that. If you don't like the offers there, you can hide them. I like them because I'm always interested in what they might be trying to prompt me to purchase at a cheaper price. Of how that cleans up your side menu there. It shrinks things down quite a bit. Below that, you have payment method because yes, you have to create an account. Yes, you have to add a credit card to it. Apple AirPlay and HomeKit settings. Well, if you have Apple AirPlay and HomeKit, I do not. This is where you'd mess with your settings. Legal notice, as you might imagine, privacy policy, terms of service, and account terms and condition. If you want to read through that, that's where you would go. Privacy, well, here we go. Advertising. Do you want Roku to track your movements? Because they're an advertising platform. Do you want to limit the ad tracking? Well, you come here and you turn it on. I highly recommend that you do this if you don't want personalized ads on your Roku experience. Reset advertiser ID. Well, if you didn't turn this on first, then you're going to come in here and you're going to reset your advertiser ID, meaning any information that it had on you, it's going to blank out, and then you're going to get more of a bundled advertising approach. Coming down to microphone. Well, here we go. Channels that use the microphone on your Roku remote. You have the option of have them prompt you to use the microphone on your remote. Always allow or never allow. I leave it on prompt because I want to know it's asking for it and I want to determine for myself if I will allow it or not. Same thing with channel permissions. If you did any changes beforehand and you just want to reset everything, this is where you would come to do that. We're going to go back and back one more time. Here we have our help menu. So Roku has been very good about updating their help. In fact, they created an entire channel that pre-launches with your Roku when you first turn it on. So if you ever need help or tips and tricks, as it says there, just load up your Roku tips and tricks channel and you'll be able to walk through most of the questions that you may or may not have. And then last but not least here, we have system. We have about our system, which will tell you information, the email account, all that fun stuff. Coming down, we have time. You can select your time zone and you can select your clock format. We're going to select back. USB media. Well, if you plug something into the Roku and it has media that the Roku can play, do you want it to auto launch or auto start? In my case, I left it on prompt. And then you have launch channel. Well, there you go. It's going to launch the Roku media player. Control other devices. Well, here we go. Do you want to tell your TV to automatically switch the active source? I just leave that on because it's easier. Overall language. You do this as part of the setup of the Roku device. I have it on English. There's lots of other options there. Screen mirroring. If you wanted to screen mirror whatever you have on your tablet or cell phone, this is where you would set that up. In my case, again, I leave it on prompt. And then screen mirroring device. Right now, I have no devices. But if I wanted to, and I was actively trying to screen mirror, I would be able to see them listed there. System update, your system automatically checks for an update if power is lost or at specific times of day. If you don't want to wait, you simply click here and the OK button, and it will check for an update. And selecting over will give you the build information for your system. System restart, well, if you can get to here and the thing's frozen up, simply click System Restart and it will restart your Roku device. Guest mode. Entering guest mode is kind of nice if you don't want somebody to have access to all of your channel logins. Putting into guest mode will allow somebody else to come in and log into their services on your Roku device. This is generally good if you have like an Airbnb. I've seen that in a lot of places. But that's how you would do that. Advanced system settings, factory reset. This is the nuclear option. If you need to system wipe, this is how you would do it. You will have to come over here and put in the key, the 4-digit number that you see listed in order to do a full factory reset. Network connection reset. Well, if your device is not connecting over Wi-Fi or over your LAN, this is how you can reset it. And then here you have device connect. I have it enabled. If you don't want it to do a device connect, you simply turn that off. And then controlled by mobile app. So if you have a mobile app on your phone, the Roku mobile app, network access is default, meaning if it's on the same network, it'll access it. You can permissive, meaning it'll always allow, or you can disable completely. If you use the Roku app at all, I recommend leaving this on. And then advanced display settings, auto adjust display refresh rate. So you can turn that on or off. What this will do is change the refresh rate of your screen based on where the source video is coming from. If you've got something that supports 4K at 120 Hertz versus 1080 at 90 Hertz. And we'll select back. Third-party licenses, just like it sounds, this is where you'll find all of your third-party licenses. And that would bring us back to About, which is the last thing on our side menu here for the Roku Ultra.